Time to set those fantasy football lineups for week number 2, and we're breaking down the running back position with SI fantasy analyst Michael Fabiano, who has 2 starts and 2 sits in his world-famous Stardom Situm article for week number 2. Fabs, we're going to go with a rookie and a veteran for both of these categories. So let's start with the starters.
Yeah, and this one's no surprise. Jonathan Taylor, who looked very good in week 1. The Colts unfortunately lost Marlon Mack for the season with an Achilles. And so Taylor's now the new lead back. He's going to spend time with Nyheim Hines, is also a very good start this week as a flex. But you look at the numbers, Taylor handled 57.7% of the team's backfield touches last week. Minnesota gave up the 7th most points to running backs in week 1. And the over-under in this game is 47.5, which means what? There's going to be a lot of points scored. So start Jonathan Taylor. And also Raheem Mostert coming off a huge performance there against the Cardinals, 151 total yards, 1 touchdown. And this week, he's got the Jets. Now, the Jets gave up just 22 fantasy points to Bills running backs last week. But if you add in Josh Allen's numbers, that total swells to 33.7. And when you also consider game script could mean the Niners are running the ball in the second half, well, Mostert is a virtual must-start against the men in green, who might have the worst team in the National Football League, Bill.
Yeah, the Jets not looking good early on. Le'Veon Bell expecting to miss a couple of weeks. Get him on their bench as well. For the other guys that are on your sit-em portion of your running back list, you have Mark Ingram and DeAndre Swift. Tell me why you don't like these rushers.
Ingram isn't even about the matchup. Houston gave up a huge game to Clyde Edwards-Helaire last week. It's all about the role right now. Ingram played just 21 snaps last week. J.K. Dobbins played 23. Dobbins had a pair of goal line touchdowns that ultimately would have gone to Ingram if the rookie weren't there. So I'm just worried about Ingram's floor. It could be a big problem. So if you have depth, maybe you have a wide receiver, you could play over Ingram at flex. I would go in that direction. And the DeAndre Swift, he's got to be the sickest man in Detroit after he dropped that touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford. Would have pulled the Lions out, but the Bears won that game. Now Swift has a matchup against the Packers, and Adrian Peterson is clearly the lead ball carrier, right? So this is a situation where it's not a 2-headed backfield monster. It's a 3-headed backfield monster with Kerryon Johnson mixed in as well. So Swift, to me, at best, is basically a dart throw flex starter. But with Adrian Peterson dominating the carries and the snap shares being split up between 3 different backs, it's really tough to start DeAndre Swift with any kind of confidence.
Great stuff as always, Fabs. For more from Michael Fabiano, including his Week 2 player rankings, get that membership to SI Fantasy Plus. Just go to si.com/fantasy and click that sign up button.